The sky above Kai's small town glowed with colors he had never seen. Stars seemed to move differently that night, twinkling in strange patterns. Kai, a curious boy of 12, stood on the hill behind his home, staring. Something was coming, something huge. At first he thought it was a meteor shower. But the lights were too bright and too steady. They moved with purpose as if they were alive. His heart beat faster. The air felt different, electric, almost humming. He wanted to run back to his house, but his feet stayed rooted to the ground. Something inside him told him to watch. Far above, in the darkness of space, massive ships drifted closer. They were not ordinary ships, they were alive in a way. Scales of golden and silver shimmered on their hulls, reflecting the light of distant suns. The ships were enormous, shaped like dragons, with wings that spanned kilometers and eyes that glowed like molten stars. These were the alien dragons, ancient and wise creatures who ruled a galaxy far from Earth. Inside one of the ships, the dragon leaders gathered. They were majestic, their bodies covered in glimmering scales, wings folded elegantly. They had searched for centuries, traveling from world to world, seeking an heir, someone who could continue their legacy, someone who could unite their civilization in a time of change. The last heir had vanished without warning, leaving the dragons worried and uncertain. Now the sensors of their ships had detected a strange energy on a small blue planet. A human boy. Kai watched as one of the ships lowered itself toward the valley near his town. The ground trembled slightly with the weight of its arrival. Birds scattered, and the wind seemed to shift, carrying a strange, sweet scent. From the belly of the dragon-shaped ship, a beam of soft light touched the ground. Kai felt it too, a warmth that made his skin tingle. His hair lifted slightly as if charged by invisible currents. The dragon ships were silent, yet Kai felt their presence in every corner of the valley. He could not hear words, but somehow he understood that they were looking, searching. Their eyes, glowing through the hull, scanned the landscape. They were ancient and they were patient. They had waited a long time for this moment. Kai wanted to hide, but something held him in place. A feeling deep inside told him he was meant to be here. He had always felt different from other children, as if he did not belong. Now he knew why. These beings, who seemed like legends from stories, had come for him. A gentle hum filled the valley as the first dragon stepped out of its ship. Its scales sparkled under the moonlight, shifting from silver to gold with every movement. Its eyes were large and intelligent, watching Kai carefully. Kai blinked. The dragon's presence was overwhelming yet comforting. He could sense its power, its wisdom, and its patience. The dragon lowered its massive head to Kai's level. Its gaze pierced into him, but it was not frightening. Instead, it felt like it was searching for something in him, something small but important. Kai took a small step forward, unsure, but the dragon did not move. The air between them seemed to hum with energy. Kai's heart pounded. He wanted to speak, but no words came. Then, slowly, the dragon spoke, not with a voice but with thoughts in his mind. "You are not what we expected," the dragon said, calm and clear. "Yet we sense the spark. You may be what we seek." Kai's eyes widened. He did not fully understand the words, but he felt them. A strange connection tied him to the dragon, a bond he could not explain. It was as if a part of him had always been waiting for this moment. From above, the other dragon ships began to land, surrounding the valley with glowing wings and shimmering scales. Kai felt the warmth of their light, the energy flowing from them. He felt small but not afraid. Somehow he knew that these creatures meant him no harm. They were searching, yes, but they were also welcoming him. Kai looked up at the sky again. The stars seemed to watch, twinkling as if in approval. He felt a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. Everything he had known about life, about the world, was changing in a moment. He was no longer just a boy from a small town. He was part of something much bigger, something ancient, powerful, and alive. The largest dragon, whose scales shone like molten silver, stepped closer. Its eyes were gentle now, full of curiosity. Kai could feel his own heartbeat in the dragon's presence. The boy's life, once ordinary, was about to change forever. And as the dragon lowered its head to Kai, the hum in the valley grew stronger, almost like a song. Kai knew deep inside that this was only the beginning. The arrival of the dragons was not the end of his story, it was the first page of something incredible. And somewhere in the stars, the galaxy was watching, waiting to see what this mysterious human boy would do next. The night was alive, filled with glowing scales, soft hums, and a boy standing in awe. The dragons had arrived and Kai had been found. The adventure of a lifetime had just begun. Kai could barely breathe as the dragons surrounded him. Their scales shimmered under the pale light of the moon, casting colors he had never seen, blues that looked like liquid sapphire, golds that seemed to glow from within, and silvers that reflected the stars above. Each dragon was enormous, larger than any creature Kai had ever imagined, yet they moved with a grace that made them seem almost gentle. One dragon, the largest of them all, stepped closer. Its eyes glowed softly, warm and inviting rather than frightening. Kai noticed that it tilted its head slightly as if studying him carefully. Even though the dragon did not speak aloud, Kai felt a presence in his mind, a calm voice that seemed to reach him directly. "You are far from where we expected to find someone like you," the dragon said, not with words, but thoughts that Kai could somehow understand. "Yet we sense something special. A spark. Potential. You may be what we have been searching for." Kai's stomach fluttered. Special? Spark? Potential? He had never felt special. In school he struggled to keep up with lessons and other children often teased him for being different. And yet, here were these incredible creatures telling him he was important. He wanted to run, to hide in the safety of his small home, but some part of him stayed rooted to the ground, curious. From the sky more dragons descended. Their wings stretched wide, catching the light of the stars. The air trembled slightly with the beat of their wings, yet it was not frightening. It was as though the entire valley had been prepared for them, a sacred space created just for this meeting. Kai could feel the vibrations under his feet, soft but powerful. "Do not fear," the voice continued. "We mean no harm. We are here to find the one who can guide us, the one who can carry our legacy. And we see that possibility in you." Kai looked around. Each dragon had its own presence, its own energy. Some seemed curious, others cautious, but all were watching him closely. Kai's hands trembled slightly, but he lifted them anyway. The largest dragon lowered its head to meet his eyes. Its nostrils flared softly, and Kai felt a warmth that seemed to wrap around him like a blanket. I don't understand," Kai whispered, his voice trembling. "Why me? I'm just a boy." The dragon's gaze softened. "Not just a boy. Something else lives within you. Something rare. Something that can bridge worlds." Kai thought about the stories he had read in books, tales of dragons and heroes, of humans and aliens. He had never believed they could be real, not like this. And yet, here they were, breathing in the valley, shining under the starlight and speaking to him, not with words but with thought, with feeling. Another dragon moved closer, smaller than the first but no less magnificent. Its scales were like liquid gold, and its eyes held a wisdom that Kai could feel in his chest. This dragon tilted its head as if inviting him to follow. Kai hesitated, then took a small step forward. The ground felt steady beneath his feet. The dragon did not move away. Instead, it lowered its body slightly, a gesture that Kai instinctively understood as encouragement. "You are not alone in this," the largest dragon said. "Others have walked before you, but none have come from your world. You are unique. Your mind, your heart, your spirit, these are what we seek." Kai swallowed hard. Unique. The word felt heavy and important. He had always felt different, as if he did not belong on Earth in the same way as other children. But now, for the first time, that difference felt like a gift, something that mattered. He looked up at the sky. The stars seemed to shine brighter, as if celebrating this moment. The other dragons shifted in unison, their wings creating a soft wind that brushed against Kai's face. He felt a strange energy flowing from them, not threatening but alive, vibrant, and alive in a way that filled him with awe. Kai reached out with a trembling hand. The largest dragon lowered its head further, allowing Kai to touch a smooth patch of scale. The moment his fingers made contact, a warm current ran through him, a gentle hum that filled his chest and made his hair stand on end. It was a feeling of connection, as if the dragon's energy and his own had intertwined. "You are the first of your kind we have ever found," the dragon said. "You carry within you a path to our future. But you must learn, you must grow, and you must choose." Kai felt a shiver run through him. He did not fully understand what the dragon meant, but he sensed the weight of the moment. His ordinary life, the life of a small boy in a quiet town, was gone. From now on, he would be part of something much larger, something that stretched across the stars. As the dragons shifted, forming a circle around him, Kai felt no fear, only a mixture of wonder and anticipation. He realized that this was not the end of his life but the beginning of an adventure beyond imagination. The dragons had arrived and they had chosen to find him. The largest dragon lowered its wings slightly, enclosing the circle like a protective dome. "Come, human boy. See what lies beyond your world. Learn what you are meant to be." Kai nodded slowly, his heart pounding with excitement and curiosity. He stepped forward, leaving behind the familiarity of his small valley, and walked toward the dragons. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, guiding his steps. And as he moved, he understood that his life would never be ordinary again. The arrival of the dragons was the first step into a universe filled with mystery, wonder, and a destiny far greater than he had ever imagined. The adventure had begun, and Kai, the boy from Earth, had been chosen to walk a path no human had ever walked before. Kai stood in the valley, surrounded by the alien dragons, feeling both small and strangely important. The largest dragon, whose scales glimmered silver and gold, spoke again, not with sound but through thoughts that filled Kai's mind like warm sunlight. "To become one with us," the dragon said, "you must understand not only our ways but yourself. You must show wisdom, courage, and kindness. Only then can you truly be an heir." Kai's brow furrowed. Wisdom, courage, kindness? He had always tried to be kind, but wisdom and courage were different. How could a boy like him measure up to ancient creatures who had ruled galaxies for centuries? He took a deep breath, looking at the dragons around him. Their eyes were patient, almost encouraging, as if they already believed he could do it. The first trial came quickly. The largest dragon stretched its wings, revealing a glowing pathway of light that led into a deep canyon. "Walk this path," the dragon said. "It will test your understanding of balance. Choose carefully, for one misstep will lead you astray." Kai peered into the canyon. The path was narrow, lined with glowing stones that seemed to float above the ground. There were gaps, and each step required careful thought. His heart raced. He took the first step and felt the glowing stone respond beneath his foot, almost like it recognized him. One by one he moved forward, concentrating on each step. When he slipped slightly, a smaller dragon extended a shimmering tail to steady him. Kai realized the dragons were not just testing him, they were teaching him, guiding him with patience. After the canyon, another trial awaited. Kai entered a grove filled with strange, luminous creatures that floated in the air. They did not speak, but their eyes reflected emotions: fear, joy, curiosity. The dragons explained, again through thoughts, that he must understand them, connect with them, and calm their worries without harming them. Kai closed his eyes and reached out with his thoughts as he had felt with the dragons. Slowly the creatures began to settle, circling him peacefully. Kai smiled, feeling warmth spread through his chest. The dragons around him watched closely, their eyes reflecting approval. The third trial was the hardest. Kai found himself in a chamber filled with ancient dragon knowledge. Floating symbols, images of stars, and histories of civilizations across galaxies. The dragons explained that he must solve a puzzle, combining what he knew with what he could learn from the visions around him. Kai studied the symbols, noticing patterns and connections. Hours seemed to pass, though it could have been minutes. He made guesses, corrected mistakes, and finally aligned the symbols in the correct order. Light filled the chamber, and he felt a rush of energy. The dragon's presence became stronger, more approving. Kai realized that his human creativity, thinking differently from dragons, was the key. Where they relied on tradition, he used imagination, and it worked. Exhausted but exhilarated, Kai faced the final trial. A dragon projected a vision of two worlds, one thriving, peaceful, united, the other in chaos and despair. Kai had to choose how he would guide their civilization. He thought about Earth, about humans and their small acts of courage, kindness, and curiosity. He thought about the dragons and their wisdom, their love for their people. "I would unite both," Kai thought aloud. "I would listen, learn, and help everyone work together. I would make choices with heart and mind, not just power." The dragons circled him, wings glowing softly. The largest dragon lowered its head, and Kai felt a warmth spread through him, a connection deeper than anything he had felt before. A soft, glowing mark appeared on his hand, pulsing with energy. The dragons had accepted him, not just as a visitor, but as someone who could understand them, guide them, and unite worlds. "You have passed the trials, Kai," the dragon said. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and compassion. You are ready to learn more, to grow, and to become our heir." Kai looked at his glowing hand and felt pride mixed with awe. He had never imagined that he, a small human boy, could accomplish so much. Yet here he was, chosen by beings far older and wiser than anyone on Earth, and they believed in him. The dragons began to lift off, their wings creating soft winds that brushed against Kai's face. They would take him to their homeworld, a place full of wonders he could not yet imagine. Kai felt a thrill of excitement and nervousness. He knew the journey ahead would be full of learning, challenges, and discovery. Before leaving, the largest dragon spoke once more. "Remember, Kai, strength alone does not make an heir. It is the heart, the mind, and the courage to choose wisely that matter. You have begun this path well. We will guide you and you will guide us." Kai nodded, feeling the truth of those words. He took a deep breath, looking at the stars above. The universe felt vast, endless, and alive. And for the first time he felt he truly belonged, not just on Earth but among the stars, among the dragons, and in a story far greater than he could have ever imagined. As the dragon ships rose into the sky, carrying him gently into the unknown, Kai looked back at his small valley one last time. He smiled, feeling hope, excitement, and a sense of purpose. The trials had tested him, taught him, and prepared him. And now Kai, the human boy, was ready to walk a path no human had ever walked before. The stars above shimmered as if celebrating this moment. Kai, once ordinary, was no longer just a boy. He was a bridge between worlds, a spark of humanity that could shine across the galaxy, and the journey of the human heir had only just begun. Kai stepped onto the alien dragon's homeworld with wide eyes. The planet was unlike anything he had seen on Earth. Towering crystal-like trees shimmered under a pale lavender sky, rivers of liquid light flowed between mountains that sparkled like gems, and the air hummed softly, filled with a sense of life and intelligence. He had never imagined a place so alive, so beautiful, and yet so different from his home. The dragons guided him gently, wings outstretched to shield him from the stronger winds at higher altitudes. Though he was small compared to them, Kai did not feel afraid. He had passed the trials and now he was ready to learn their ways. The dragons moved with grace, their scales reflecting the planet's strange light, creating patterns that seemed like moving constellations around him. "This is our home," the largest dragon said in his mind. "Here you will learn not only what it means to lead, but also what it means to connect, to understand, and to protect." Kai followed, trying to take everything in. Everywhere he looked, creatures of all shapes and sizes moved with purpose. Some floated, others glided, and some appeared to be semi-transparent, their forms filled with light. The dragons communicated with them in ways Kai could barely understand, using thoughts, gestures, and energy. The boy realized that this civilization was not just powerful, it was harmonious. Every being, every action, every thought contributed to balance and unity. Kai spent the first days learning the dragons' languages and customs. They showed him how to connect with the energy of the planet, to feel its rhythms, and to understand its needs. He discovered that the dragons' power was not only in their size or fire, but in their ability to work together, to trust, and to make choices for the greater good. At first, Kai struggled. He was human and his mind thought differently. Where dragons were methodical and careful, he acted impulsively. Where they saw patterns in time and space, he saw possibilities in imagination. But soon the dragons began to notice his strengths. They saw how humans could approach problems from new angles, how creativity and curiosity could solve challenges that tradition could not. "You are learning quickly," the largest dragon said one evening as they stood on a cliff overlooking a river of liquid light. "Your mind brings something new to our ways. It is not weakness, it is a gift." Kai smiled. It felt good to hear that. He had always wondered if his differences were flaws, but here they were valuable. He began to share ideas with the dragons, small things at first, ways to improve their communications, ways to explore new lands safely. The dragons listened, intrigued and impressed. For the first time, Kai realized that humans had something unique to offer, even to beings as powerful as dragons. He also began forming personal bonds. One dragon, smaller than the others with scales that glowed like sunrise, would often accompany him as he explored gardens of floating flora. They communicated in playful ways, testing each other's curiosity. Another, with deep purple scales, loved to listen as Kai told stories of Earth, of forests, rivers, and the skies he had once known. The dragons were fascinated by his tales, and in turn they shared their histories, teaching him lessons from centuries past. Kai learned that the dragons once faced challenges similar to what humans experienced on Earth: disagreements, scarcity, and fears of the unknown. He realized that, despite their power, they valued wisdom, empathy, and courage above all. And slowly, Kai began to understand his own potential. He could unite these two worlds, not just through power but through understanding and shared knowledge. Days turned into weeks. Kai grew stronger, more confident. His hands glowed faintly with the energy that had first appeared when he passed the trials. He could sense the dragons' moods, their intentions, and even their fears. And they, in turn, seemed to sense his heart, trusting him more each day. One morning, Kai sat atop a crystal plateau with the largest dragon beside him. "You have learned much, human boy," the dragon said. "But the true bond is more than understanding. It is trust, respect, and shared vision. You must carry this in your heart always." Kai nodded. "I understand," he replied. "I want to help your people and learn how to be a bridge between us and the rest of the galaxy. The dragon lowered its head, allowing Kai to touch its snout. A wave of warmth and connection flowed through him. In that moment, Kai realized that he was no longer alone. He was part of something bigger, something that blended human creativity with dragon wisdom. The bond was not just about being chosen as an heir, it was about forming trust, understanding, and unity across worlds. As Kai looked over the horizon, he saw other dragons flying in formation, glowing in harmony with the planet below. He knew that one day he would guide them not just as a leader but as a friend, a teacher, and a bridge between civilizations. The path ahead would not be simple, but it was filled with promise. Kai smiled, feeling excitement and determination. The alien dragons had accepted him and he had accepted them. Together they were forming a bond that could change the galaxy. And as the lavender sky shimmered above them, Kai understood something important. Being human was not a limitation, it was a strength. For the first time he felt truly at home, not just on this strange, beautiful planet but in the universe itself. The adventure was far from over, and the journey of unity, learning, and discovery was only just beginning. Kai, the human boy, and the alien dragons were ready to face it together. Kai stood at the edge of the great ceremonial plateau, feeling the wind from the dragon's massive wings brush against him. The sky above was filled with colors he had never imagined, shifting hues of violet and gold, light streaking across the horizon like a living painting. The dragons had gathered in a wide circle, their scales glimmering with soft, radiant light. Each one watched him patiently, yet with a presence that felt powerful enough to shake mountains. This day marks a turning point, the largest dragon said in Kai's mind, its voice calm and full of authority. You have passed the trials, learned our ways, and shown the heart needed to lead. Now you will be recognized as our heir. Kai's chest tightened. He looked around at the dragons, some towering over him, others smaller and more delicate. They had become more than teachers, they were companions, friends, and guides. The thought of becoming an heir, of standing among them as a symbol of unity, made him both nervous and excited. The ceremony began as the dragons lowered their wings, creating a dome of shimmering light over the plateau. Energy pulsed softly beneath Kai's feet, responding to the presence of so many ancient beings and the bond he now shared with them. He stepped forward, placing his hands together, trying to steady the rapid beating of his heart. You have brought something new to our world, the largest dragon continued. Your mind, your spirit, your courage, these are the gifts that humans bring. They are rare and they are powerful. You remind us that strength is not only in scales or fire, but in creativity, compassion, and the will to unite. Kai felt warmth spread through his chest. He thought about Earth, about his life before the dragons arrived, and about everything he had learned since leaving his small valley. The boy who had once felt ordinary now stood as a bridge between two worlds. The dragons began a ritual, not one of dominance, but of connection. They lowered their heads, touching Kai lightly with their foreheads. Each touch sent a wave of energy through him, a gentle hum that filled his mind with visions of the past, present, and possible futures. He saw dragons soaring among distant galaxies, humans exploring stars, and a future where both civilizations could thrive together. Kai's eyes widened. The visions were beautiful, overwhelming, and filled him with a sense of responsibility. He realized that being an heir was not about power, it was about choices, guidance, and understanding. He would need to be wise, patient, and courageous. But for the first time he felt ready. You have learned to walk our path, the largest dragon said. But now you will help us shape it. Your humanity is your gift. Use it well. Kai nodded, feeling the weight and honor of the words. He placed his hand on the largest dragon's snout, feeling the familiar warmth that had comforted him during his trials. The energy pulsed through him, connecting him to every dragon present. He could feel their trust, their hope, and their belief in him. The dragon's wings lifted slightly, creating a gentle breeze that carried the sound of soft hums and whispers. Kai looked around at their faces, or what could be called faces, and felt a deep sense of belonging. These creatures, so ancient and wise, had chosen him not because of strength or heritage, but because of heart, mind, and spirit. Today you are no longer just a boy from Earth, the largest dragon said. You are our heir. You carry our legacy forward, not through domination, but through understanding, compassion, and unity. You are the spark that connects us to a new era. Kai closed his eyes and took a deep breath. The magnitude of the moment settled in his chest. He thought about the adventures, the lessons, and the bonds he had formed. He thought about Earth and how his life there had seemed ordinary, even dull. But now, he understood that his journey had prepared him for this moment, for this responsibility. As the ceremony continued, the dragons lifted into the sky, forming patterns of light that reflected their approval and celebration. Kai felt a surge of energy and joy. He could sense that this was just the beginning. He would guide them, learn with them, and protect the unity they shared. The largest dragon spoke one last time, softly in his mind. Your journey will not be easy, Kai. Challenges will come and you will face choices that test your heart and mind. But you are not alone. We walk with you and you carry the best of both our worlds. Kai opened his eyes, looking at the dragons flying above the plateau. The sky was alive with color and light, shimmering in celebration. He took a step forward, feeling the ground solid beneath his feet, and the energy of the dragons flowing around him. A smile spread across his face. He was ready. Not just to be an heir, but to be a bridge, a guide, and a symbol of unity between humanity and the ancient dragons. His heart swelled with pride, courage, and hope. He knew that the path ahead would be filled with challenges, but he also knew that together, they could achieve something incredible. Kai looked toward the stars, feeling the pull of endless possibilities. The dragons circled back around him, their wings beating in harmony with the pulse of the planet. He felt their trust, their bond, and their belief in him. The universe stretched out before him, vast and alive, and for the first time he knew his place in it. Kai the human boy had been chosen. Not for power, not for bloodline, but for his heart, his mind, and his courage. And as he lifted his gaze to the endless stars above, he understood that his story was only beginning, and that together with the dragons he would write a future that no one had ever imagined. The winds carried the soft hum of the dragon's wings as Kai took a deep breath. The chosen heir, human and extraordinary, stepped fully into his destiny, ready to face the wonders and challenges of the galaxy, and to unite worlds in a way only he could.